नित्यानन्देश्वर सदाशिवसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरि आदिशक्तिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome all of you with my love and respects. I welcome everyone sitting with us all over the world through Nithyananda TV, Facebook Live, on hundreds of Adinavasis channels, YouTube Live, two-way video conferencing, having Nayana Diksha. I welcome every one of you with my love and respects. I'll expand on few fundamental truths on your ability to cognize higher powerful cognitions. Just before the satsang, I was having a very intimate discussion with some of the Mahants of the Sangha. Discussion was about the multi-dimensions of the universe. Please understand, your brain is actually constructed, capable of grasping, cognizing and functioning, understand the word, functioning in multi-dimensions of the universe. Listen carefully. The form I am using is not same. The language I am using is not same. The cognitions I am manifesting is not same. For example, the eyes with which I am seeing all of you, the same eyes are not used in Kailasa, or in Satyaloka, or in Tapoloka. But one thing is same, that is this breathing. Understand? Understand? The air I inhale goes to Kailasa and comes back, comes out. Listen carefully. The eyes with which I am seeing you is not the same eyes I am using in Kailasa. The form I am using is not the same in Kailasa. The words I am using is not the same in Kailasa. The cognitions I am using are not the same in Kailasa or Tapoloka or Satyaloka or in all these 11 planes. I should use the word 11 dimension, not planes. 11 dimensions, because 14 planes. In this plane, in this dimension, you have access to 3 planes. In Kailash dimension, you have access to 2 planes. I think it is too confusing, so just listen to this word, 11 dimensions. Let's stop with it. So the body I am using in this dimension is not the same body I am using in that dimension. The words I am using in this dimension is not the same words I am using in that dimension. The eyes I am using here is not the same in that dimension. The cognitions I manifest is not the same in that dimensions. But the breathing I am doing is the same in all 11 dimensions. That is the common thread which connects the consciousness with this body. Listen. Listen. That is the common factor connects consciousness with this body. Spanda. Connection. Common connection of consciousness with the bodies. See, I have 11 various bodies in 11 various dimensions. Actually, little more than 11, the bodies I am using. All those bodies are connected through this breathing. That is why being in the breathing space only makes you manifest powers. Understand? You can see this form sitting anywhere in two-way video conferencing. In a larger screen, a LED screen, you get a better experience. Anywhere you can hear in HD quality audio, a better clear voice. But none of them can transmit the experience because only through the breathing all these 11 dimensions are connected. The vision I am capturing, the words I am uttering are not same in the Kailasa and here. They are all different. This file does not even go to Kailasa. Only if it is a very important person, it is taken separately and archived into Kailasa. Not otherwise. Make sure your file reaches Kailasa before you reach Kailasa. So, they are ready with your reception and accommodation. The programs team in Kailasa is ready to host you. The cognitions I am manifesting here and in Kailasa are different. But the breathing I am doing is same. In all the 11 dimensions and 14 planes. Now the air I inhaled crossed all the 11, 14 and comes out. I want you to know the strength of the life in you is strength of your breathing. When the breathing becomes intense, your brain's capacity to cognize all the other planes opens up. It is like cracking the code, cracking the passcode. Listen, I'll repeat. If your breathing is intensified, by attentively listening to a truth, it will crack a component in your brain which will give you access to Satyaloka. Understand? If your breathing is intensified through dancing, kirtan, it will crack a component of your brain which will give you access to Kailasa, because our kirtan is directly from Sadashiva. Understand? This Tirukkailaya Vadyam, there are 27 items. Unfortunately, only 20 items are available now. The 7, we don't even know how to make them. And in the 20 also, our laziness, we have not procured all the 20. These Vadyams and this 108 Karana are directly from Sadashiva. Listen carefully. Totally there are 1008 asanas Sadashiva has described in Agama. We are able to lay our hands only on 600 to 700, not all the 1000, because we Hindus, as usual, losing scriptures is our lifestyle. Not maintaining, not teaching, not protecting, not preserving. So we lost, I should say, at least 400. 300 to 400 we lost. So around 600 to 700 we were able to lay our hands. Totally 1008 asanas Sadashiva has described. Time-lapse version of 1008 asanas is 108 Karana. Listen. Time-lapse version means how you fix a camera and capture 24 hours and condense it into 2 hours or 2 minutes. The time-lapse version of 1008 asanas is 108 Karanas. So, if your breathing is intensified through this 108 Karana based Kirtan, our Kirtan is completely 108 Karana based. Karana means Gana in movement. Intensity in movement. Length, breadth, depth is Gana. Gana in movement is Karana. Our Kirtan is completely based on this 108 Karanas. So, with the Karana, because of these Karanas, if your breathing is intensified, a component in your brain is electrocuted by that prana, which gives you access to Kailasa, which gives you the perception and cognition of Kailasa. The day you have the vision of Kailasa, you are born in Kailasa. So then you start existing in both planes. You start experiencing two-dimensional life. The more dimension life you manifest, more fulfilling you are, more complete you are, more Sadashivatva manifests through you. Understand? Understand? Through puja, if your breathing becomes very, listen, intense does not mean through dance, getting intense will have a different physical expression. That will naturally be like a big hyperventilation kind of a action. But through puja, when your breathing becomes intense, it will not be hyperventilation type, it will be deeper ventilation type. Like Sahasradala Pangaje Shagala Sida Rashmi Prabham Varabayagaram Vimalaganda Pushpambaram Prasanna Vadanekshanam Sagala Devata Rupinam Smarechirasiyam Sagam Tatapimana Purvam Gurum. It's actually Dhyana Sloka for Guru. I can see very clearly Arunagiri Yogeshwara. Sahasradala Pangaje Shagala Sida Rashmi Prabham Varabayagaram Bujam Vimalaganda Pushpambaram Prasanna Vadanekshanam Sagala Devata Rupinam. On the 1,000-petal lotus, Varabayagaram Bujam, Vara Abhayakara, Prasanna Vadanekshanam, with a beautiful, alive, Prasanna Vadana, smiling, welcoming. Prasanna cannot be translated just as a smiling or welcoming. Prasanna should be smiling, welcoming, alive, illumined, graceful. All that words should be added. Prasanna is something which brings you to the present. Prasanna Vadanekshanam Sagala Devata Rupinam, embodiment, or in the form of Sagala Devatas, all the gods and goddesses. Smarechirasi Hamsaham Tatapimana Purvam Gurum means with my breathing flow, Hamsakam. See, Hamsam is the integrity syllable of your breathing. Listen carefully. Integrity means being what you are known for. If a lion is known for something and it does that same, it is integrated to being a lion. An elephant is known for something and it is doing the same thing, it is integrated to being an elephant. If suddenly elephant starts eating the flesh, what will happen? He is not known for it. If he does for what he is known, he is integrated to it. So, the integrity syllable of your breathing is Hamsam. Hamsam. This Hamsam is the Ajapa Japa mantra, unchanted mantra which gets chanted continuously by the integrity of your breathing. When your breathing gets into your system and comes out, the natural sound it makes is called Hamsa. Hamsam. Understand? Where this hum sound takes a turn of some sound is Sahasrara. That is where Guru is sitting. That is why it is called hum. Please listen carefully. That is why he is addressed as Hamsakam. Where the hum turns into sam, his agam resides there. That is his house. If the hum does not turn into sam, you are savam. Understand? If the hum, listen carefully. If the hum is 100 unit and sam is less than 100, 99, you are just aham. If the hum is 100 and sum is 100, you are Hamsa, Jiva, individual soul, who had Pratyagatma Chaitanya Jagrata. If the hum is 100 and sum is 101, you are Paramahamsa. Listen carefully. This hum-sum proportion decides the level of integrity you have in your system. This hum-sum, that decides how many dimensions in your brain are open and available, accessible to you. Listen very carefully. If this hum is 100, sum is less than 100, you are in the plane of agam, human. Boo. If the hum is 100, sum is also 100, you are Hamsa, Jiva who is awakened. If the hum is 100, sum is even 101, you started entering into the Paramahamsa dimension. Means the Guru component has started manifesting in your Jiva. Means he started mixing in your taste of life. What is your desire? Your Guru's desires. What is your taste of life? Your Guru's taste. What is your joy? Your Guru's joy. What is your opinions about death? Your Guru's opinions. What is your opinion about life? Your Guru's opinions. His taste, if it has started mixing in your brain, the hum-sum proportion drastically increases. Understand? Actually, I am explaining the whole science of opening different doors of multi-dimensions of the universe to you. And now if you are opening your sleep dimension, your Sushupti dimension, Patala Lokam only will open for you. So please, do not plan for Patala. Let's plan for Kailasa. Your breathing becoming intense, especially through certain activities, opens up those dimensions, those planes, and your brain awakens the ability to have access to those dimensions. Listen. Now, you are intensely listening to this truth, and even if it is going above your head, you are trying to let me. Then your breathing actually gets into certain subtle flow, which is intense. Subtle don't think means shallow. No. In subtle breathing also it gets intense. During the puja, that subtle intensity happens. During the kirtan, raw intensity. During the yoga, a programmed intensity. Understand? Regulated intensity is yoga. Raw intensity is karana, kirtan. A subtle intensity is while during puja or during the satsang. Now, your breathing is getting subtle. It will go and hit a component in your brain which will open your ability to access Satyaloka. Listen, each of the activity and the prana intensified through that activity opens up a component or a part of your brain construct which gives you access to the different dimensions of life. Today I told Mahayoga, I have decided I am going to initiate people into experiencing different dimensions from today. So that is the reason I am introducing. Listen. In yoga, certain regulated intensification of pranic flow happens, which opens certain dimensions in your brain, which gives you access to Tapoloka. In Kirtan, certain kind of an intensity happens, a raw intensity in your breathing process. Because our Kirtan is as per Sadashiva's design, the brain component gets awakened in your system, gives you access to Kailasa. Listen. Visions and Puranas written by our masters are not fantasies and myths. They had access to those lokas through their brain's capabilities awakened. That is why they saw what was going on between the Devatas and demons and the Ksheerasagara Mandana, the milky ocean churning, and they described it so beautifully. Various intense breathing currents, breathing patterns, getting awakened in your system and opening different constructs of your brain and having access to those dimensions is what I call manifesting powerful cognitions and having access to multi-dimensional universe. That's really fun. Understand, it is fun to have this life. Poor are those who try to be a ruler of this plane. Your brain and its construction and ability to access multi-dimension are all theory few years before. Now the scientists have started smelling the broken facts and informations about this truth. And it's my responsibility to reveal it to them. If at all they access this video and they are interested, I welcome. Come and be here. I will provide everything and give you this knowledge, but don't come with some big grants. No, I am not interested. I am not a researcher for your grant. I am a guru. If you want to come and sit in the style of Gurukul style, I am ready to share. Whether you are a physicist interested in having a breakthrough, whether you are chemist interested in alchemist, whether you are working on this cosmology, interested in various dimensions, or you are studying neurology. Neurology is a set-top box for the universe. Your brain is the set-top box for the universe. So whether you are working on the set-top box or the channels relayed, satellites relaying the channels, whether you are working on your brain or the multi-dimensions available for your brain, you are welcome to Gurukul. I'll share. Everything exists. I am not using the word everything I can. I am saying everything exists. I'll share with you. Understand, working for grants is not my integrity to me, but sharing everything exists is the way I am. That is my integrity to me. If I work for grants, it will look like lion eating the grass or the elephant eating the meat. That's not me. That's not Mysore Road. I'll tell you everything exists. I'll give you precise landscape of Sadashiva's quarters in Kailasa. Not only give you precise landscape, awaken the ability to access, see that in multiple brains and multiple brains will perceive precisely the same and paint it. To establish the authenticity, nothing else. Your brain is constructed for this multi-dimensional access. Understand? Ability to access multi-dimensions of the universe is your nature. It is there with you. Just the breathing need to be intensified through different methodology to open up those dimensions so you can have access. When there is a heavy truth is told, still you have not completely cognized, but that does not mean you are not able to cognize. It is like a digestion is going on. It is like digestion is going on. It is there on your head like a funnel, it is going inside and you are. During that time, certain intense subtle breathing gets developed that gives you access to Satyaloka. And when you take certain kind of alcohols, your breathing goes through again intense pattern, gives access either to Swarga or Naraka based on your pattern structure. Deep pain or high joy. No, actually it is nothing to do with here. I'm trying to release intense prana so all of you will digest what I am revealing. The intensity of the prana is getting increased, so body is just balancing, that's all. So your brain cognizes what I am talking because I am sending compacted files into your system. All the words I am using are only password, not information. Information is going through the intense files, the compacted files. The words I am using is only the password to open your brain. The words I am using are not informations I am conveying to you. It's only the password. The information I am sending it through the compressed files. The words are used only for opening up, means like a password. The prana only is used to send the compressed files into you. So the file goes and sits directly inside you and the cognition happens. That is why many times after the satsang you go and start talking many things which I never uttered verbally, but matches very logically with the subject I am talking. It means the compressed document has been inserted inside. I am not conveying what I want to convey through the words. I am only opening you through my words. What I need to convey, I am inserting into you through the breathing, through the prana. That is why for higher level initiation, the Shaktipada becomes very important. Being in the breathing space becomes very important. When you are away, of course you will understand what I am saying. You will not cognize what I am saying. You may not cognize what I am saying. When you sit physically, you will cognize what I am saying. After the satsang, when you are doing your job, causing, or when you are talking to other people, Adinavasis, suddenly you will see so many ideas will open up and you will be talking. Then understand the file has gone inside and the file is opening up. Suddenly you will start talking and causing many things you never heard in the satsang or never expressed by me verbally. Means that file is opening up. If you are in the Adinam, do not miss this morning 2 hours chance you get to sit with me. Morning only 2 hours you get chance to sit with me. Morning Pada Puja and Satsang. Don't miss that 2 hours. That is actually the reason why you are here. That 2 hours is the essence why you are here for remaining 22 hours. That is why I make sure the other 22 hours is not that easy. So the first reason to remain here is only these 2 hours, not any other hours. All that can be only secondary. But the primary reason should be this first 2 hours. I'll continue to expand. I think try to understand and have Jivartha Satas Essence of today's satsang. 3 lines. 1. Integrity is being what for you are known. That's all. Second, various methods of making your breathing intense opens up different components and parts of your constructs of your brain, gives access to different dimensions of universe. Third, very carefully listen very carefully. Neither my form nor my words can be equivalent to my breathing space. Because all these are different in other dimensions, but only my breathing is same in all dimensions. The air inhaled goes to Kailasa and gets exhaled. So the essence of today's satsang, the air goes to Kailasa and comes back. Do Jivartha Sadas on it. I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam, Sada Shivoham, the eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
just going deep into where is this limitation of length coming from? It seems that public consensus reinforces, and therefore I see it as absolute reality.
And that is a word, social conditioning.
Yeah. So, in other words, how to differentiate what is my consciousness imagining and my freedom, consciousness freedom, where I can have a lot of creativity, from what is absolute outside fixed and something I can't change. I think we evolve from childhood with certain things being reinforced. So everybody agrees that this is fixed. Since everybody agrees, it becomes more and more fixed in my mind. So can we say that length is not absolutely fixed? But because everybody agreed, therefore I imagine.
You are right. For practical utility value, we agreed some comparative reality and started believing that as an existential reality, which is not true.
And that's how the length became. So
I should say, you are right.
So then another similar idea, isn't language a problem? Because even if I'm not speaking to other people, even if I'm talking to myself,
I tell you, language is a problem.
The categories, even if I'm thinking in languages, I'm using categories. A particular category requires differentiating what this fan is from everything else which is not the fan. So therefore, what is possible and not what is not possible is defined as part of the language.
Rajuji, from my experience, I tell you, all the people whose mother tongue is the language with multiple option words, for example, just for this one, Sanskrit may have 300 words. The multiple option word mother tongue people have a very high developed brain grooves. From my experience, I saw. So in a way, I will say, for example, if you utter a word cow, and the time it takes for the English person to grasp the visualization of the cow, and a Sanskrit person, ko, and the time it takes, at least 100. Means the person who knows the Sanskrit catches it less than 100th time with a more precision, because the words there is wide option. So brain by its nature requires to be in high alert when you handle that language.
So it seems that one of the ways to explain why human beings went down in this capability is because of the language and the public consensus.
Yes.
And the rishis probably being alone, meditating, less public consensus, and using the right...
Actually, unfortunately, in the modern day, public consensus are becoming the university syllabus.
Yeah.
In our rishis culture, university syllabus used to be made as a public consensus.
And this...
rishis sit and develop university syllabus.
Yes.
That is made as public consensus.
And this is getting worse because advertising is telling me what is good looking, what is bad looking, what I should buy. And so we are getting worse into that is all length. We are making length, more and more length.
Yes. You're absolutely right.
Swamiji, when you gave me the Agni Samyama initiation in Kumbh Mela, you said we'll be able to see inside. I was able to see inside. But now, in this last process, I was seeing things like the core of some planets and everything, and it's completely opposite to what we have all been led to believe in the modern thing. For example, for like Jupiter and all, I don't know why I saw.
Actually, what I'm saying, Guru, if you can see your brain, you can see the reflection of Guru.
Yes.
If you can see your throat, you can see the reflection of Rahu.
That's exactly how
If
I
you
saw
can see your liver, you can see the reflection of sun.
Sunny. It's daily.
So each of the grahas are reflected on your organs and they instigate, guide. That is the way they influence and impact your life.
My question is related to the length aspect as it pertains to artists. So traditional Indian artists can visualize an image and create it exactly in the form of a sculpture or painting. And even if they make 10,000 paintings, it will be exactly the same. Not like every time they make, it will be different each time and use a word like creative expression or something. They can reproduce it exactly the same. So are they able to do it because they remove the length aspect, and when they put
I
it
should
into
say, from the young age they grow up, so the length aspect is not given much energy. Creativity and doing this repeatedly same thing is a unique to Hindu arts. Creativity and repetitively producing that. All our temple deities are handmade. You will see so much of similarity even though it is handmade. Not machine made. Handmade, but so much similarity you will see. Almost 90% will be same.
There's a question on third eye. If the third eye can see that, which it can, and if it can see this also, then it can perceive what this and that the same way, Swamiji.
Yes.
And is that the space of oneness, Swamiji?
I should say visual oneness. Actually, in the seeing you experience oneness, actual oneness is whatever you see, you will feel one with it. That is actual oneness.
How would
Now you are, see, if you can see this, see that, it is called 3D oneness. Actual oneness is 11D oneness, where you will feel everything is you. Not just seeing, feeling everything is you.
is it like a quantum shift to that space? Or is it-
I should say quantum shift in your visual oneness.
Yesterday and today, we've been learning about length, depth, and length, breadth, and depth. My question is, I have two parts of the question. First part is, we have made lot of business decisions, family decisions, or life decisions all these days, which we might have made it in length, depth, or breadth, which are right, wrong, be it certain decisions which just comes from the gut of the feeling. Again, some have gone right, some have gone wrong. Now, when we have this knowledge, what you have shared with us, how do we handle those situations when we come across them?
Means
Those
already,
mistakes, those
what
wrong
I'm
decisions.
what I'm saying, even the impact of the past mistakes when it is repeating, it is only a new problem.
Okay.
So deal it and cut it across.
Deal it with the new knowledge what we have gained.
That's all.
Okay.
Understand, your whole future is nothing but dealing with the past mistakes.
Okay.
Now, is there any future other than dealing with the past mistake?
No.
Come on. Now, we all have this big mental blockage. Understand, future is nothing but dealing with past mistakes. If you remove all the past mistakes caused problem, there is no future. Any of you? No, just see. See with open eyes. For how many of you it clicks? At any given time, when you wake up to certain truths, your future is continuation of the past mistakes presenting itself.
The concept you explain about being able to excel in multiple subjects, let's say. You mentioned that actually what limits us is the length. And if we'd only...
I should say, the denial dimension of length.
Yes, so let's say one doesn't deny anything, imagining he can excel in everything, but still there, and you mentioned that
The moment you say imagine you can excel in everything and but still you have not imagined completely. Next.
you said that in order to excel in something, you don't really need a lot of time. It only takes.
Understand? See, he's telling, let me imagine I am a rich fellow, but how will I get my next meal? That's what he's trying to ask. It means you have not imagined you are a rich guy. Next.
Okay, I had a point, but if you want, I can state it.
Yes.
Okay, so doesn't in excelling something, even though we invest all of our 100% of our being into every moment of it in excelling it, doesn't it? I mean, some subjects are complex and takes time, doesn't it?
No. Efficiency is nothing but engaging with life. Efficiency has no independent qualitative, quantitative say over your life. You might be working on the same MNC machine for 50 years. The last product you have produced may be a mess. First time you are picking up, you can be producing something extraordinary. Efficiency has no role, only involvement with life. Even if you are efficient doing the same object 20 years, if you do not attend to this cutting and moving, you will be a mess.
Another question, please. You said that, my understanding of the length is that it might be redundant for us, and if we would
Means?
only be able to remove it from
My understanding
of length, if we would be able only to remove length
actually
from the rope,
when you get into the depth, length is redundant, useless. Because you are not getting into depth, length is the homeless man's poor version of depth.
you mentioned also that when you saw the blueprint of the building, you were able to immediately get the number of everything and the measurements and all that. But still, you said that in order to convince others, you had to spend another 10 days.
No. I have to speak it out so that the stapati will start working now. The person who carves, for him I have to explain.
But isn't depth?
Because he is the space of length.
But isn't depth is subjective in a matter that one?
Yes, it is subjective.
So don't you need a common language, common logic in order to?
No. Depth was a common language at once upon a time.
So length can be redundant.
If that kind of a beings when I get, I can convey what I am saying within maybe 2-3 hours. Here also, whoever has the depth, they immediately catch me without much wastage of time of me explanation. See, I told you now that I can sit and convince you why you should be vegetarian for 20 days. But that is a lengthy process, length process.
One more thing, please.
The moment I establish my adhikaratva, means authority to teach you, by demonstrating what I am committing, then if you immediately pick it up, it's called depth teaching. The depth process.
If I may, another question.
See, let's not make length process. Let's do depth process.
First of all, thank you so much for the whole experience. It's been amazing. And oh, sorry, I said that. I thank you so much for the whole experience and Sadashivoham. It's amazing, and specifically the yoga sessions. I mean, I've been practicing for several years, and I've never experienced such things. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Whatever you all practice yoga is in length. I have taken the yoga to the depth and brought it to you. That is what is that entanglement process. I have taken the yoga to its depth and brought it to you. Now, if you experience this dimension, then you will understand the utility value of the other dimensions. You see, I need to convince you to live without length. More blissfully you will start living. Today morning also in the yoga, actually today morning yoga is 300% more effective than yesterday morning session. Yoga session. How many of you felt that all that gas got released and your body became flexible? See, actually when you eat and the food undigested becomes gas in you, same way when you breathe, the prana undigested becomes apana in all the joints. Apana makes joints rigid. Apana is responsible for arthritis. All the teachers, the shouting lifestyle guys will not have arthritis. Liars, whose job is screaming, they will not have arthritis. No, I'm telling you. If you start screaming, you will not have arthritis. But if you start screaming at others, your bones will be broken. That is different. Now today, so much of sound is released, especially when the Kundalini hits your stomach and the sound gets released, the whole apana caught in the joints gets released. You will be surprised, such a simple thing can make the body so flexible. I saw in the Facebook so many people posting, my body becomes so flexible and it is doing so many things which I can never imagine I can do. How many of you feel body becomes so flexible? Wow. Thanks to Raghupati Yogi giving me all these tips.
When Satori happens to an individual, what state of consciousness?
I should say, space opens up and enters into time, length, breadth, depth, everything for certain amount of time and then closes it again.
Okay. But why not able to hold it?
Because the body is feeling too new, uncomfortable. Anything you are too new, you feel uncomfortable.
Okay.
So you need to be told about it. You need to be supported to settle down. Then when it comes, repeats again, it doesn't leave. It settles down.
Okay. Swamiji, one more question. Can it be created or is it
It
something
can be just rebuilt again. It can be consciously rebuilt
by the individual?
by the individual. Even when I am doing process, if you remember that experience, it will suddenly click and repeat.
JJ,
Yes.
when people die, that time only the length and breadth switches off?
No. Actually, when people die, length and breadth is left here. Only depth is carried to the next body.
Swamiji, I'm trying to understand what is belief in terms of what is belief in
Can you repeat what?
terms of dimensions?
Belief.
Belief, yes.
Belief is a too poor word. I should say, I will not promote belief in any line. Whatever I am promoting, nowhere I ask you to have belief. I establish my adhikaratva, I establish my authority by the Sakshi Pramana, and only as an extension of Sakshi Pramana, I give you the commitments about life. It's only as the extension of Sakshi Pramanas. See, even the Sadashivam whole process starts with Sakshi Pramana. As an extension of Sakshi Pramana only the whole thing. So I should say belief.
Swamiji, about the possibilities, impossibilities, many of the things look like they are possible but can't be experienced. Example, my eye can see 200 meters from here. Since it can see 200 meters, it is capable of seeing any distance.
Yes.
But
It is not possible as on now. Listen. The moment you decide it is possible but not yet become experience, your whole attitude towards life becomes a large yes. If you don't even understand it is possible, and you say, now it is not experience and it is not possible, you are atheist. Now it is not experience but it is possible, you are a theist. But it's not belief. Belief, this is not belief. This is from Sakshi Pramana moving further. Because you can see 20 feet, you can see 200 feet. Sakshi Pramana moving further is not belief. That is the theist.
so what is the thing which, how we can make it the power to...
I see how to make it. For each of the making it, there is a clear system. Now for your eyes, as you asked, third eye. Awakening it is the best. But each, how we have answer, but this basically looking into possibility makes you say yes for life. I tell you. Now you decide. I can see 20 meter, then I should be able to see 200 meter. Even if you don't make that as a reality now, in the further janmas you will be manifesting it.
Yes, sir.
See, listen. Every possibility you keep in you is an empty vessel you keep. And during death you are showered with Ganga. You will hold energy in all those empty vessels and come back. That is why I say, a man who keeps lot of possibilities in his inner space, even when he dies, he takes an amazing birth. Because when you leave the body, such large amount of energy is available before you take birth. You go through the cosmic treasury. But if all your vessels are kept upside down, you go and come back as empty as you went. So even having understanding about your possibility makes a vast difference.
Thank you so much. So,
And I tell you, every night when you fall asleep, especially with this spiritual alchemy products, you go through a very powerful zone. Keep this possibility vessel and get there and come back, you will come back with filled vessel. Really. I'm not over promising you. I'm telling you exact truth.
yes, sir. Swamiji, one more question, Swamiji. Few years back, just before physically meeting you, I just went through one experience where all of a sudden it just, the whole sound became muted for me. It stayed for the whole day.
Was it peaceful?
Completely peaceful, Swamiji, enjoyable. Though I was...
Actually, that is a space of shanti. It is possible where the length gets switched off. During the process, sit and remember that it can be repeated. I can bring it back.
Thank you so much.
Swamiji, in which dimensions do thoughts exist, Swamiji? Is it length, breadth and depth? Or
Length, only length.
Only length.
Breadth carries only visualization. Depth does not carry thought at all. Depth carries only cognition.
And Swamiji had said that time is created only when thought moves on space.
Listen. At least little bit of length is required for time to be generated. If there is no length, time cannot be generated. You will be in a just unclitched space.
So, Swamiji, my question is, suppose a person doesn't have that much of denial and has multiple capabilities, still won't that person have conflict? What I should be doing this moment?
No. First thing, you are asking imaginary question. If somebody has a multiple intelligence, he will not have conflict about the day-to-day life. He just knows how to flow. He knows his priorities. Conflict is when you don't know your priorities. If you know your priorities, there is no question of conflict.
Thank you so much.
So,
Conflict is itself is con man's flict. Part of you has become con man. That is why conflict.
So, to continue that with a personal experience, from childhood I've been brought up to get up at the Brahmi Muhurta and study, not do yoga, but study, and I enjoyed that. Now, like if I want to switch and I'm conflicted, I know yoga is a priority.
No, what I am saying, you should, it means you are not clear about your priorities. From childhood days, they told you means at that time they may not know about the value of yoga.
Right,
Understand?
Swamiji.
Now, you should know your health is in your hands.
Right. Yeah.
See, in 20s if you do yoga, in 30s you will be healthy. In 30s if you do, in 40s you will be healthy. In 40s if you do, in 50s you will be healthy. If you miss 40s, 50s will become disease. If you miss 50s, 60s, you may not even be there. So understand. And it's up to you.
Sure. Thank you, Swamiji.
I tell you, health should be your first priority, because anything else you build and you are not there, then what is the use? For whose sake are you working? For whose sake are you working? Health should be your first priority. Make this as a point. The moment you wake up, attend to the health-related needs like yoga, walking, jogging, running, whatever. Whatever. Health should be your first priority. Otherwise, whatever you are building, for whose sake? For the people who are waiting for you to die?
Energy seems to exist independent of length, breadth, time, and space, time. Would that also qualify as a dimension?
No. Energy is I should say, if you equate the word energy to the electricity and all, it is like a space vibrating. If you equate the word energy to Adi Shakti, it's a Karani of all these 11 dimensions. Now that Karani energy only I invoked in all of you during the last few minutes process, Kali. Kali is the Karana Sarira of the cosmos. Karani of the cosmos. She is responsible for making you cognize whether something is possible or impossible. She decides to make you Sura or Asura.
So energy, you're saying, is the basis for all the 11
Ah,
dimensions?
yes. If you look at if you give the meaning of the energy to the higher meaning, if you say energy is this power and all, then I should say it's vibrating space. That's all.
So matter also falls under vibrating space, or
Matter should fall under vibrating space. Even this is vibrating space. All these are vibrating space.
Earlier you said Brahma painted all our life in a big screen. And if you have the manifesting power, how we can manipulate what's going to happen? And can we postpone the death?
Listen, there is certain amount of freedom you have. Like if a cow is tied with a 4-meter rope left, he cannot do anything beyond that 4 meter, but within that 4 meter he can stand, sit, lie down, all that is his freedom. Within that 4 meter, how he behaves, if he behaves properly, the rope may be extended to 7. If he behaves completely nice, the rope may be even removed once for all. So all beings do have a certain limited freedom in the initial level.
Okay.
How we play with our freedom decides whether to it should be extended or it will not be extended.
How does it compare with astrology, who's predicting the future?
That is what I am saying. There are some things which are set for, see, it's like if you switch on, if you put a CD and switch on the tape recorder, MP3 player, if you don't interfere, it will be going on with that programming. Same way, with this present mental setup, if you proceed, how your life will be, that is called prarabdha. But you do have a freedom to interfere, switch off, on, rewind, fast forward, pass. Educating you about your freedom is initiation. Letting you live your life is prarabdha.
Okay.
People come to me, ask, how is my life going to be? I ask them, do you want prediction? Go to my balasans. If you want me to change, come here. If you want to know what is written, go to balasans. If you want to rewrite, come, I'll do. Understand, there is two different level.
So what is the Yadanati Sani, which is right now for Virchiga Rasi, Yadanati Sani is running. Is it Janma Sani?
If somebody does not know how to interfere with the effects generated by the liver, means Sani's impact, what he will go through, you can read in the Panchika, you can read in all the news channels. That is a prarabdha. But if you are suffering and if you want to change, ask an energization, I'll intervene. What Brahma writes by hand, Guru wipes by leg.
I just want you to shed some light on cosmic will and free will. From yesterday, I've been trying to request this question to you. So I am doing some prayatna to come in front and ask this question. So is it cosmic will that I have to ask you this question? Or is it my free will that allowed me to ask?
The question, as the question is free will, answer is from cosmic will.
As you said, the cosmic will, where does it fall? Is it in all the LBD, the length, breadth and depth?
Cosmic will permeates everything.
So then the free will, when it plays, where does that fall?
See, free will is one small bit of the cosmic will.
Okay. Thank you so much.
See, it's like a whole railway track, 100 kilometers. And the spot where the train is moving, the spot where the train is moving is free will. The whole 100-kilometer railway track is cosmic will.
This LBD on that, these planets, what are moving around, these planets are having definitely LBD all.
Yes.
Will you say this, when we think about planets and the astrology, they are having LBD or they are having only space?
No, please understand. Please understand. All the planets come within the space of length, breadth, depth, time, space, in that 5.
All 5 are there?
Yes, all 5 are there in all these planets. In Swarga and all, length is missing, but all the other 4 is there. In Naraka, all the other 4 are missing, only length is there.
Right.
So in Patala, depth exists, but so much of length is also available. The depth is not actively performing.
Right, Swamiji.
So, I'll do one thing. When I finish explaining all the 11, I'll tell you all the 14 planes where they fit into this 11.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Atala, Sutala, Talatala, Vitala, Patala, Bur, Bhuva, Suva, Tapa, Satya, Janya, all these lokas, where they fit in this 11 dimension, I'll tell you.
The usual concept in the Western way is that there is space and there is some object called planet which is having LBD and just moving around. So they see the planet, different than space because it's an object. So, your revelations are totally different and it is absolutely...
See, I should say, the space is Karani, Karana. Length, breadth, depth, when it moves in the Karana, the friction generated is time. That is why the mass decides the time.
Beautiful. Next one, you said very
How many of
nicely.
you are able to catch the mass decides the time?
Next one, Swamiji. Actually, you said that Akasha and Kala, they are the words for space and time.
Rough equivalent. There is,
now-
see, I'll tell you one thing. Akasha, 100 qualities are there. Space, when it is translated, maybe some 50 qualities only are attributed to the word space. What I'll tell you, in Akasa, when I utter the word Akasa in Sanskrit, even the space where cloud gets converted into water, that whole weather temperature change, for that space supports. But in the English word space, this quality is not attributed to space. Kala also, I'll give you an example. The English word time is not given certain glories and qualities which is attributed to Sanskrit word Kala in Sanskrit language. That is the difference between these two. For example, English concept of time is not carrier of your depth from one body to another body, but Sanskrit concept of Kala is a flight in which the reflecting mechanism, that space, is shifted from one body to another body.
Oh.
Listen, see, I'll tell you. There's a mirror inside you on which all the information goes and hits and the response comes back. That mirror is Akasa. Understand? Whenever this body stops working, Kala is used as a flight to carry this mirror and keep it in the other body. Understand? I don't know whether you are able to catch what I am saying. But time is not given this qualification in English language.
I'm able to catch somewhere, but not directly logically.
I'll tell you. This mirror which reflects, you have like this one mirror in you, which is a space where all the information reaches and answers come back, commands come back. That is the Chitakasha, it is called. That Chitakasha is moved from this body to the next body when you leave this body on the train called Kala. Kala becomes the shoulder on which you ride and enter into another body.
Okay.
But the time is not given this glory and definition in English. So that is why I am saying when I use the word Kala, the depth with which I can explain, I am not able to when I use the word time.
Okay. The last part.
See, it is like one blind man, one person who has both the legs, who does not have both the legs, one person who does not have both the eyes, become friends. And the guy who does not have legs was carried by the guy who does not have eyes. So that with his eyes he will guide, with his leg he will walk. The time and space relationship is like that only. One fellow cannot do something and another fellow cannot do something. Within the body, time does not have a big role when the space is bolted in the body. But when the body is not there, space cannot respond, so time only has to carry him. Blind guy and the guy without legs. Blind guy has legs, he can walk. Guy without legs has eyes, he can guide.
Both are complementary to each other.
Yes.
The other part is that
When you say both are complementary to each other, you are Sura. When you say both are incomplete, you are Asura.
okay.
Understand? When you say both are complementing each other, you are Sura, Deva. When you say both are incomplete, how can they exist? How can they live? It's impossible, you are Asura.
Swamiji, kindly reveal the Sanskrit word or the Agama. What are the words mentioned for LBD? Length, breadth and depth. As you have mentioned about Akasha and Kala.
The depth is called Gana.
Ghana.
Gana.
Okay.
Gana.
But in English, that's a sort of density.
I should say, all cognition is intense, undividable length, breadth manifestation. Let me put it this way. If it is a cheese, it is Ghana. If it is a milk, it is length. If it is a ghee, it is breadth.
Oh.
Got it? Trying to find which is the right word to convey this, the length and breadth. Because Sadashiva uses, when it comes to the measuring the Yagashala, he uses one word, Neela, not Neela, Neela. And when it comes to building the aircrafts, he uses a different word. The unit itself is different. So I just wanted to, I'll get the right word and give you. What will fit more when I explain about dimensions? Please understand, the length concept used during construction, length concept used during shipbuilding is different in Agama. I don't know why. The unit itself is different. And the formulas are different. In the construction, the length is dealt in a normal way, how you deal in the Western way. Like a unit and all that. But in the space building or shipbuilding, length is not dealt like that. It is dealt more always associated with Gana. Length does not get involved in any independent calculation in shipbuilding without Gana. Without, see, it describes in shipbuilding, in any movable, like a ship or airspace and all that, length becomes feminine, who does not have an independent existence without the Gana. But in all the immovable, like a building the house or a palace or a temple or a yagashala, length becomes a male, independently it can stand. So the word used is masculine length word in the for immovable, for movable a feminine length word. I am yet to discover why the difference.
Swamiji, I just
and
wanted
all
to mention,
these dimensions are given genders by Sadashiva. He also gives genders.
the usage of the words length and breadth in English, say this is there. I mean, if you call this part as length, then this part is width. And there, vice versa, you can change.
Yes.
So the length and breadth, words are interchangeable.
But in Agama it is not interchangeable.
But the concept what you are saying, it is not. Yes.
It is not interchangeable.
So,
not only that, and it is also, the gender identity is given for all three of them. Maybe the formulas used in immovable and formulas used in movable have a different purpose, so they are given a different gender identity. Still, I am yet to discover the context why here different, there different. I only know two different. I am yet to stumble upon the context.